Well, it's been a rainy Sunday morning. It's finally, the rain has stopped. I'm getting ready to go take a walk, but I'd stopped reading the Confessions of St. Augustine for a while. It's just been sitting here in the console of my truck, and so I pulled it out. It's such a great book. I always forget how great it is. It's like every time I start reading it, I read it in little bits. It's just such a great work of both a history of a man's life, but it's also written by him in one sense as a confession of the sins of man, of his life, but it's a representation of the sins of all man. But it's also one big long testimony ultimately for the reader. It's mostly very educational and enlightening, but it's a testimony, and it tells the story not only of St. Augustine, but also of many other people. So his life intertwined with a lot of other people's lives, and so he tells the testimony that inspired him from others. And remember, he was alive very close to the early Christianity, to the days where Christianity, you could say, was really still forming into what it became. There was still a lot of well, there still is even today, but specifically during his time, there was a lot of I guess deciphering and codifying the teachings left behind by Christ and the apostles. Everything was still very new to the world, really, in terms of Christianity. It wasn't as new as it was in the actual days of Christ or in the days of the apostles, but it was still quite early. And I think what's so interesting about that is the teaching, the main teaching of it all was very much solidified by Christ. There was no questioning really from the day of Christ what the message was. I mean, it was the same then. It was the same during the time of Christ, the apostles. It was the same during the time of St. Augustine, and it's the same today. But I think this little paragraph on this chapter, it really sums up really the whole reason for this book, and also not only for this book, but also for what other people and other Christians also should be doing. And so it says, "My God, let me remember with thanks, and let me confess to you your mercies done to me." So, we're all sinners, and we all have pain and suffering in life, but, God is always there for us. He's always there for us to turn to. And it's a very humbling thing. I have, Christianity and Christ, and what the promises of that are things to humble us, just through all of the tough times and the things that humans tend to do to themselves and do to others. Christ is still there to forgive us. "Let my bones be penetrated with your love, and let them say, Who is like unto thee, O Lord? Thou hast broken my bonds in sunder," meaning that through God we're bound to these materialistic and worldly things that create a lot of our pain and suffering. And when we turn to the goodness and to the universal truth, we can be broken from those bonds. We can find salvation from those bonds. We can kind of think of it as those bonds are pulling us down. If you want to think of it in terms of an analogy to being saved from drowning, so to speak. Like when you're saved from drowning, something's pulling you down, and then something lifts you up, or something frees you from what's pulling you under, and you come to the surface, and you get air. Thou hast broke my bonds in sunder. I will offer unto thee the sacrifice of thanksgiving, meaning that everything God will be acknowledged in everything. That's this gratitude for life will go to God and to this higher power. So thanksgiving. I will tell how it was that you broke my bonds. And so he writes this book. This book is the story of how he's explaining in real, tangible, real world ways how God broke his bonds. He tells about the bonds. He tells about his sins. He tells about his shortcomings, and then, and how he was saved from those things. And he also makes it clear that, not everybody has to live exactly the same life as he lives. It's that we all have this ability to have this relationship with God through Christ that will allow each one of us to have our own freedom, and that each individual life is unique, and that we are all this children of God. I mean, he's explaining that, and this book is the promise that he made to tell his story. It's the proof of that. It's a very great book. I will tell who broke my bonds, and all your worshipers who hear this will say, blessed be the Lord in heaven and in earth. Great and wonderful is his name. And so St. Augustine was a very smart person, and he was already, before he was a Christian, really renowned for his speaking abilities and, for his intelligence. And so he knew he had a gift, and he knew that he could share that gift in a way that would add something to the works of the Bible. So his book, and again, that's I think really important to remember, that there's been many things written and said and testimonies made that are not part of the Bible. The Bible is it's the guiding work that Christians have to follow, but spirituality in relationship with Christ is individual. So each individual has a story, and that's of course why testimony is a big part of Christianity, as St. Augustine is acknowledging here. So you have to find all the different aspects of how to build a relationship with God. It's not to come from just one place. It's in nature. It's in study. It's in prayer. It's in meditation. It's in how you take care of your body. It's in how the world comes to you. We don't necessarily choose too much about how any day or moment or year or is going to go for us, and where we're going to end up, and what things are going to just come into play. And so all of that is part of your life, and within that is God. So I love you, and reading and studying all kinds of things, both books that are very specific to spirituality and to Christianity, and also things that are not specific to, but through your lens can be related to God and spirituality, and to setting that compass in your heart in the right direction. I love you.